What is going on, family? Welcome to AlignFamily, where I, Coach Orlando of Align Performance, and Ro Della Grazi, everyone's beloved Mama Moody, talk about what it's like to manage the childhood we had while we try to manage the childhoods that are now our responsibility. I guess I'm done with that part. So yeah, but it's how we manage this family thing and take care of ourselves in a real way. So if you want your top 5 ways to get more vegetables, this is not that podcast. This is not what we're talking about here.
No, because you know why? While you were doing the intro, I got these are backup glasses, and I don't wear them because they're scratched, but I use them in case I can't find mine. And then automatically my brain's like, you got to make that eye appointment with the doctor.
I know.
I'm like, can we?
I know.
And then as you're talking, I was like, oh, I should get some cups of me and Orlando for I'm thinking merch. I'm like, okay.
No,
Okay.
I so get it. Here's the thing, and I didn't understand this when I was a kid. When you're the parent, you're also a person. You are a person with strengths, weaknesses, phases of life. But I just didn't process that part. I thought you just got to parent and then you were all set and then you just took care of kids. So yeah, I'm like, this is hard. I'm as distracted as you want to be. I'm doing my best to keep us on the tracks here.
Also, how we're always talking about how we don't want to pass on generational trauma and all that. You know, you and I mean, obviously been different. Both grew up in New York, but I was very aware of how little we had. It's very apparent, and I try not to use that language. But it's almost like my kids. I think you saw I don't know if you saw my TikTok I did about it, but and this just happened. I bring it because Jacob's like, hey, for this summer, can we go to Japan? And I'm like, well, no,
absolutely not.
We can't. And then he's like, well, then he goes, okay, well, then what about Greenland? That's a better.
That's.
What about the library? The library is right there. We're going to the library, buddy. And so it just happened. I was trying to eat I was like a can of tuna, real it's like, oh, this is the lunch we're having. Can of tuna, chopped up some stuff. And they're like, let me see the tuna. So I opened the can ew. And then Jacob's like, that doesn't look like the tuna I'm used to. Because ahi tuna, oh, okay, well, Jacob, this is the tuna budget we're on right now. This is the $1 tuna. Ahi tuna is $20.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're right. And there's tuna collar. Okay. Yeah, you're right. There is tuna collar at the restaurant.
Wow.
That is pricey. Look, they weren't feeding therapy. Jacob was in feeding therapy for a year.
Right.
So I'm glad that he's eating and bougie.
Kids, right.
But also hey, buddy, I don't know. You might be disappointed that this timeline has sent you to the family you're in now because you might have been with wealthier parents.
Last time around, what you're used to.
Last time.
Yeah.
Sorry. Mommy's working on it. But also, you would have cracked up because we had the end of the year, right? So all the students, the teacher, she's like, okay, we asked fun facts that people might not know about them. So you can guess if it's your kid. And I swear to God, one kid wrote, you didn't know who the kid was. My family isn't rich.
Jeez.
And I was like, well, that could be any of us, right? It was another kid. But I was
that's funny. Wow. It's starting to hit them we can't have everything. So
yeah,
that's
if that's your thing, fun fact about me, our family's not rich. Great.
I know that the parent, and I bet you the parent who that matches up with knew it was their kid who wrote it down. Maybe several kids thought it, but somebody in that room was like, that said, damn, when I get Jimmy home.
It was really funny. I was like, oh,
that's crazy.
Cool.
That is crazy.
So that was my thinking. You're right. We are not the top 5 veggies for your kids. We definitely aren't.
No. Well, and on the thing in terms of money, that's interesting is it took me a long time to separate out what is happening now from what my childhood was like. But and we weren't. I mean, we were not destitute in any way. My mother was a psychiatric nurse, but we, shared, the 3 of us lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. So it was, we were never like, I always slept in the car and that kind of stuff. I'm not trying to, but at the same time, I have to catch myself. And Daphne caught me over the years many times, just wanting like to exceed,
Mhm.
to get
Yeah.
whatever was the best or the finest of it, or oh, let's get you a new one, or like, and part of that I know was, times that I felt like
Yeah.
I don't even want to ask. You know what I mean? Like I don't even want to ask for that. Like it's just, it's too much. So
And
yeah.
it's interesting because I went kind of in an opposite direction too, because we had a house and then they eventually lost the house, right?
Hmm.
I kinda knew as a teenager, I was like, "I gotta get out of here.
Right. Right.
I can't stay this house is crazy." And for a while, we had, like, an uncle living upstairs, so he was smoking too much pot. My dad had to kick him
My
out, and,
God.
you know, all this. So, we had a modest house in Long Island. So
Yeah.
I guess we were, so what it wasn't that, but I went the extreme opposite. Like I would to a point where now, even now, like today I ordered a new bag because the bag I had was like falling apart, like literally falling
Hmm.
apart.
Hmm.
And one of my comedian friends said, when we are playing a country club, he goes, "You want to know how I know that's Rose purse? Because it's falling apart. Nobody at this country club has that." And I was like, okay. I wear the shoes till they fall off. I,
Right.
I
Right.
go with
Right.
the
Right.
non-name brand. It's an
Got
interesting
you.
thing
Yeah.
how when we come out, how we then our habits supersede that, like from that, you're like, "No, we're getting the finest because you didn't have that." And even though, yeah, we didn't grow up in a one bedroom, which is your mom had a roof over your head and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
she provided how she could,
Yeah.
which was great. But it also wasn't like we had a I don't even know, 3 bedroom, like, but we had a house,
Right.
but we also didn't have like, I think I've told you that story where my dad's like, "Well, we can go to Disney World and your mom has to leave, or we don't go to Disney World because I can't afford both." You're like, "Okay, we'll just stay here with mom."
I don't remember that one. That is a wild conversation to have. You can
Who's a
have your
12-year-old?
mom or Disney. What? I'm sorry. I don't think
Okay,
I heard you correctly, sir. What did you just say?
okay, cool, cool, okay, so, we'll just stay here for the summer, just play in the yard. It's fine.
Like, mom, all in.
Cool, but cool. But and of course they're like, "Well, I mean, a vacation." But I'm like, "Yeah, but did you see the choice? Like, keep mom or
Yeah, like
Disney World."
even
So
that way of presenting it says a lot. It says a lot.
says a lot.
So I wanted to get
So
into off of that though, but like I wanted to get into we both took trips recently, very different trips, but it struck me that the traveling as a parent is like a whole different thing, no matter what situation you're in, right? Like either you're leaving them behind or you're traveling with them, which obviously is its own thing, whatever. So anyway, I thought it was like a way for us to get into some conversation today about the family stuff and parenting.
yeah.
But yeah, why don't you tell folks about your trip?
So when you travel with kids and then you have a trip that you take by yourself, there is nothing easier
My
than
God,
traveling by yourself.
it's a
Like,
breeze after that.
you can drop me off at the airport 5 hours early, I'll be fine, okay? I will entertain myself, I am fine, okay? And when I tell you, I went to LA, I did Netflix as a joke fest, great time. It was a whirlwind of a trip because when I'm there, it's like this person, this person, this person. I saw my nephew.
Right.
It was let's go here. And then there was also some chill times. When we're like, okay, me and Jess were like, okay, we're just gonna stay in tonight.
Got it.
I did work. I coached a couple students. The show
Nice.
was awesome.
That's great.
I mean, it was amazing. It was some of the comics. I don't know if they were in their head. I don't know if the crowd just didn't jive with them. Like
Mm.
it, it, and they're funny people.
Right. 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 Right.
They are very funny. It's just whatever. It just
Yeah.
wasn't
Sometimes. Yeah.
their set.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not your set. And also, I've had shows like that where it just hasn't been my set, and I've watched the person that had the set have the set, and
Right.
you're like, "Oh,
Right. I
I
guess
mean,
this audience can laugh. They just weren't laughing with me. All right.
not a me. Wasn't me. Wasn't my
Yeah.
set." And
Yeah.
I've had that happen on, like, big things that I put a lot of,
Wow.
like, I guess, value on.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
for this one, I was nervous 'cause I always get nervous before a show, especially a big show. I'm like, "Oh, I'm nervous," but I really didn't this wasn't the same as, like, if not everything's got to come out of this. That
Right,
was,
right, right,
I was
right.
like, let's just a credit, and we're gonna
Yeah.
have fun. And these people I love, and I know a lot of these people here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy
Hmm.
to have the new material. And when I tell you, it was awesome.
You
It
know,
was so great.
I'm not surprised by that. And at another time, I want to talk to you about this idea I've been working on, the moment of when.
Yeah.
But the only reason I
Hmm.
bring it up is that it sounds like a moment of zen because it's related, but that a moment of when is even more profound because in addition to you having that moment of presence, it's when you're doing the thing you intended to do, when you're in your purpose, and that happens. And I think
Oh,
that's even, and
interesting.
I call that the moment of when. And I
I
think
love that.
when you describe, you've done all the sets, right? Like what, like really, really, if got all tense, like for what? What are you, right? After these years, gonna forget? You're gonna be fine, right? And even if you forgot every joke you were gonna tell, you could probably do crowd work for 15 minutes and get out of it, right? Like it just, but because you weren't squeezing, I think it makes room for that to happen, which I've known over the years. And when I get it right, in all parts of my life, it's better,
Hmm.
including parenting. And I want to come back to your story, but it's just like you hit right on something I've been thinking about recently. I got to see Maya, my child, in Hairspray in Wisconsin, which was very exciting. And so then we got to do a drive together to see the grandparents real quick. They're nearby in Illinois and whatever. And on the drive, we had a talk just about life stuff that, the 21-year-old's dealing with. And so first of all, you're in a different phase, but I know you'll get this. When your 21-year-olds talk, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So
I
exciting, so exciting. Right. So there's that. But I think at other times I so wanted to get it right and like give the sitcom dad perfect, quick 3 sentence advice that was gonna like make the music start playing. That like I was in the way.
I know.
And
I
this
know.
time I consciously, like I was in my head, I was like, do not speak. Do not speak.
Don't you do it.
Don't do what were you gonna no, right? But the beauty of it was I let some silences sit and they came back in and said something that we may never have gotten to. And then also I feel like we've had subsequent conversations, and I think it's because that conversation went well. But I go to all of that because when you describe how the relaxed way you went into Netflix as
Hmm.
a joke fest, I am not surprised that you had a great set. And it's
Thank you. Yeah.
so hard to go that, you know what I mean? It's like it's a mature thing in all the parts of our lives, but when we get it right, it's just propels things.
And also, congrats on being that dad that like can have a drive with your daughter where you guys talk and
And that was
have a
nice.
conversation.
Yeah, no, it was
That's
really cool.
great.
Yeah, that
That's
was
like
really
parent
cool.
goal
Yeah,
right there.
I was so excited. I was so excited. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
also you don't wanna like, for me, I'm like, "God, I hope" I just never and they might. I mean, it's so funny, it's like, are they gonna think I'm a dork? Because I've been a dork my whole life, like but Jacob loves that. He
That's
just
funny.
embraces the weirdo kinda thing.
Right,
But
right,
you're like,
right.
"Oh, I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna be corny. I'm gonna be corny." Just embrace the corniness,
Right,
like,
right,
"Just
right.
gonna have to embrace this." But, to just have a
I
drive
love that.
like that, and you're like, "Oh, me and my daughter ta" like 'cause also too, I mean, I get along with my dad. I love my dad. My dad's great, but also too, I mean, actually, I will say we were able to always meet and have breakfast on a Saturday morning. Did not matter where I was the night before,
Wow.
and we'd have breakfast, and when I left from New York, that was one of the hardest things to
Wow.
not do. I
Mhm.
remember I was like, once I moved out, our
Mhm.
relationship got significantly better,
I get
you
that.
know?
I get that.
Because we were and also, how we were growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. Just running wild. Like when I think about I'm like, you were 16. Like, where were you going? Like, what exactly were you doing? Are you
The
insane?
decision, right,
It's
that
like,
I made, I was like, "Are you" Out of your mind?
Out of your mind. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna drink while I'm making all these bad decisions.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's
you know
helpful.
what?
That's
Oh,
great.
you guys all oh, we found a house with a friend that her mom lets us do drugs in. Fantastic. Like,
Fantastic. It's our lucky day. Like, it's
she's
insane.
the coolest mom ever. No, she's not cool. No, she's not cool. No, she's not. She's a
You want to go back
delinquent.
now and go, as a matter of fact, she is
Like,
not
why are you letting
cool.
us do acid in your basement, lady?
That's wild. See, I didn't get into
Yeah,
any of that stuff, but I think that was just a matter of happenstance and nervousness on my part. I did not like to be in trouble as a kid. So I was like,
yeah. Well,
but yeah, but then it didn't stop me from drinking. So I don't know what that was about. But
also,
anyway,
Orlando, if we could talk about like, well, when we talk about like, I know clearly that I am not an alcohol. I can say with very confidence that I'm not an alcoholic, but doesn't mean I'm not addicted to stress or anxiety or things like that.
right,
That's
right,
what I've
right,
been
right,
working.
right,
And I don't say that like, oh, I'm not an alcohol. I'm just saying that
mm,
I know I'm not a drug addict
right.
because when my friends were doing acid, I'm like, hey, we're switching over to cocaine. And then they told me the price. I was like, absolutely not.
No, we are not switching over. You might be switching over. I am not switching over. You are switching over. So the you part of we should do that.
It paused because
Good stuff. Okay.
but yeah, no, but it's true. It's like they were like, well, we're hopping on. And I really was like, I am, I'm not like, that's way too much money. Like, it's been $5. Like, I'm not $50. Like, and I know addicts that they don't care. They don't care how
Yeah,
much it
no,
is.
once they got you, they got you.
They
There's
got, I was
no
like, and then I was like, "Oh, that's why I'm in DA, Debtors Anonymous, because it's literally I know that my thing is money. So when you present drugs to me, I'm like,
that
that's all
is
you need to tell me."
that's out of my price range. It is not gonna happen.
Strange.
That's
Absolutely
really
not.
funny.
We're not. I'm
That's
like, "You're
really
lucky.
funny.
You know how cheap I was, and if I'm drinking feast, what makes you think I'm gonna
I
go to
wouldn't even
cocaine?"
buy respectable beer. Are
You get
we
Bar-
are we tracking here?
you get Bartles and James when you go to the house party in where Canarsie. That's where you get. You go to Canarsie for the Bartles and James, you don't buy it. You buy Thunder and Lightning or Oldie, that's it. Like,
Oh my god.
sure, I was probably so cheap, I didn't even buy a 40 because the 32 ounce was less, okay?
Oh my god, that is
So,
very funny.
I
That is
mean, when
very
you think
funny.
about it, I was from a very young age, I was like, "I am not spending money on this debauchery unless it's cheap." And then after a while, you're like and then you graduate to the jugs of white Zinfandel because you have an apartment and you think you're
Yeah,
classy.
yeah, yeah. Oh, no, big step up. Big step up. No,
Big step up.
can't beat the white Zinfandel out of a box.
The
You can't.
blackberry Merlot, like,
Oh
you're like, "I've
yeah.
got a job now, so I'm making money. We're gonna get blackberry Merlot."
All right, so I totally took us on a sidetrack. So we're there. You have an amazing set. What was it? So, but now I want to ask you about the parenting side of it too. Mom, you have on your T-shirt today. There you go. Jayla
Jacob and
Jacob,
Jayla's mama.
Mama. There you
Is it
go. Talk to us about that part because I think for a lot of people who do have to do business trips or would be in a situation like that, like what's it like to leave them behind? What does it actually take to take that trip?
I get also well, it's interesting you say that too, because now, especially when I don't know when we'll sell the house and when we'll be on our own, and you know how it is with this business, it's like people have already started booking me in October, right?
Right, right,
Yeah. And I always say, and especially like with my mother-in-law, she's always like, "Ro, I don't want to think that far ahead." And I go, "I know you don't, but you have
but
a very like her hours are set. She's
mm-hmm,
got, like same with Chris, his hour. I
mm-hmm,
mean, he works on salary, so but when I say, like, I try to explain them, "You guys don't understand, I book months ahead of time."
right,
So, like, my first thought is, I got booked and some of it's potential, like, some of it's like, "Well, I don't know, I gotta let you know about the date," and that's like,
right,
or cancel or something. So, I just got booked in October for a few things, like speaking or teaching or this and that, and I'm like, "Okay, how's that gonna look if we're separated and we have week
mm,
on, week off?" And then so, yeah, it's right now if I'm staying in today, which who does that? But it's really going like, okay, so to Chris, I was like, "Hey, these are the dates I'm gonna be gone.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the whole," because they were still at school. So you're
Mm-hmm.
on the whole morning pick everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I just have to it was funny because I actually did a joke that night. I mean, a
Mm.
couple of the jokes I did, I had never done. And it was so funny because my sister-in-law, my other sister-in-law who lives in LA,
Mm.
Chelsea, she was there. And I made a joke in the middle of set because I was like, I left the kids, the kids are with Chris. And I go, when we called him on the phone, the group app, and we're like, how's it going? He's like, oh, it's easy. I'm like, "Oh, really? It's so easy." Like I just kind of made fun of that. But, it's like, for me, I think it's a very weird not weird, but when you have your kids and then you're on this trip by yourself, you're like, the idea that you could do whatever you want, especially like a work trip like I took,
Right,
where I
right,
knew
right.
it was like work here, coach here, do that. But also then I could just do whatever. And you're like, then you feel like you want to do everything and then you want to do nothing.
Mm. Right.
You're like,
Yeah.
oh
You're
my
like,
God,
oh
I
my
gotta
God, I
go.
have a break. Right, right, right.
I gotta go here, I gotta go. And then like one night we're like, okay, maybe we should go stop by this show. Like all of a sudden, like I gotta network and be everywhere, right? And then at one point, my friend Jess who put me up,
Mm-hmm.
she's one of my students, she's a friend of mine. She ran the show. She's great. And I was staying at her house and one I was like, okay, we gotta do this and maybe we'll do this, maybe we'll go here, maybe we'll stop by here. And then she like just was like, hey, do you want a drink? And it was like 5 o'clock. And when you're like 5 o'clock, a
Yeah, right.
drink?
Can we do that?
5 o'clock, like, nothing booked, just like, "You
Right,
guys wanna
right.
just order some food and stay in and have some drinks?" And you're like, I mean, I guess
I guess I do.
we can we do that? Like, "Yeah, yeah, we can."
Yeah.
You got nothing but and we ended up doing that, and then, like, "Oh, wait, I'm gonna go to bed." Like, "Okay, cool." I mean, it was really one of those, like and you forget that for so long, showing up for work, you had this life where you could just like, I sometimes think about, like, remember when you used to sometimes just go to a bar during the day and just have a drink when you're,
Yeah,
like,
hang out.
in your
Yeah.
right, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
the
crazy.
idea is like, yeah, we like that and I know you've been with Daphne for a long time and your kids are now 21 I mean, they're gonna be 21,
No, they're
but
21. Yeah, they turned. Yeah,
look at
yeah.
that, right?
I know. I
And
know.
so yeah, and you experienced a lot before you had your kids,
Right.
but I think there is something that happens that you're like, "Oh, yeah." Because here's the thing, it's hindsight. When you have your kids now, you're like, "Man, I should have gotten a lot more done before I had these kids."
Yeah, yeah. I think I blew it. I think I blew it. I think I blew it.
And then when you're on a trip, "Oh, what do I think this" I go, "I'm gonna bring my journal, I'm gonna journal every day, I'm gonna bring my book, and I'm gonna get caught up on my reading, I'm gonna" like, no, you're not. Let's be for real. Let's be so for
Let's
real. You're gonna
be so for real.
come on. You're gonna scroll on your phone, you're gonna like, let's be honest with ourselves.
So yeah, no, I got you. So I'll tell a little bit about my trip. It was a different kind of trip. So my godmother's 90th birthday was April 24th. And so she was having this lunch, and so I flew out for it, and my sister came up from Baltimore, so we met up in the city. And so that was lovely, and she's very funny, very sweet. Anyway, so okay, I'm in the city. My sister hangs out for the weekend. I've now talked to Daphne and said, hey, I kind of figured out the logistics of this. If I hang out in New York for a little bit, I can go up to Hartford, visit my cousin CJ for a little bit, go hang out with Dahlia in Baltimore, and then we go see the show together, and then I'll come home. It's like 3 weeks, right? And I'm thinking she, at least gonna want to negotiate this. She was totally just like, yeah, sounds great. I guess I'll do it then. I was a little bit shocked, like, hey, are you trying to get rid of me? What's going on here?
And you're like, "How about I'll miss you, but"
Right? No. Get to stepping, right? Like, all right, great.
it's great. In fact, you should take an extra week for yourself. You're like, "Wait a second."
What's happening here? Uh, so I'm there. So I go, my sister's there for that first weekend, and then I'm going to have essentially a week in New York. And my plan is like, now I'll call all my friends and I'll do this, I'll do that. From Monday to Wednesday, I had like a verb. From Monday to Wednesday, I was laid out in bed the only times I got up was to go like once a day probably. I would go out to like the store to buy some stuff to drink and to buy like some sort of meal or combination of things that I could trust to like give me a good meal and then make something to eat later. Like that's what's and then I get back in bed. Bro, I did that for 3 days. Like I didn't even really turn on the lights that much in the apartment. Like it was like that. And, I told my therapist about it, and he was like, "Were you depressed?" And I was like, "No, it wasn't depression. Like, I am exhausted." Like, I was like, I was that tired. So when you go away, you say like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna catch up on my reading," and I go, "Yeah, it feels like I've been so busy. I finally." But what I needed more than anything else was shut it
Mhm.
down. Like,
Yeah.
shut it all the way down. And then the trip, I've been I wanted to toss this part in. I've been dealing with the cluster headaches and I get sick and so like I thought about it and for at least like the last 3 years, I've pretty much been at least uncomfortable every day, if not in pain. Like when I thought about it, like, oh yeah, like yeah. And this trip, and I thought for a long time, maybe it's like cortisol stuff and with the PTSD and then other stuff came up like over the course of this trip the pain subsided till I got back. I had 3 days in a row that I would regard as like pain free. Like maybe the pain was like a 1 or a 2, and I was living like anywhere between 7 and 10, depending on what was going on. You know what I
Really?
mean? And it's just blowing my mind. Like I'm like, I'm still gonna go to doctors. This is like, we gotta at least try to figure out why it was showing up the way it was showing up. But it is so clear to me that I was just that burnt out,
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yes.
And so, as I said to Daphne, since we know that at least since the kids were born, I've never had 3 weeks where we even could say, should I take some time
Mhm.
and shut down? And sometimes I think about that for parents because people say, like, oh, take care of yourself or you've got or whatever. And it's like, okay, yes, but then easier said than done. And I don't know if you have any reactions to that or any thoughts on like what parents can be doing or just people in general. But like we talk about parenthood can be doing to like get that in there because I'm telling you, I saw my time in New York completely different. And then it
Yeah.
was like, no chance. Like, don't even bother calling people. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, that's not what's happening right now.
Well, yeah, because of course, I'm sure you could be like, "Well, I could have done a lot of different things," but your soul is like, "No, we're not. We're resting, and if you don't, then you're not gonna go home," you know? So, I think it's interesting just because when you say that, like, so this past weekend, on Thursday night, Thursday day, I had to drive to Nashville, do the show, drive back from Nashville. It was about a
Right, right,
four and
right.
a half hour drive, and then I did 5 shows at the Punchline, and to be honest,
Oh, nice.
I was I had really great shows, but I was sick the whole time. Like, I had, like, a cold, like, I felt like crap.
Right, right, right.
But I also have to show up to these shows,
Of course, yeah.
right?
That's
Because
what
I
it is
was
to be professional, right?
yeah, and to be in the business, I don't have 6 days.
Mhm.
And Chris said something like, "You should just reschedule everything." I'm like and then, tell me to pick up the kids. I'm like, there's so much more to that than just saying that it would exhaust me. I'd just rather push through and get to sleep early.
Right, right, right.
And I really think about what you said, and I was like, I think that what as parents and people that have like are working and doing the hustle and the grind and all that, there's just points that our body and mind can get us through for the situations we're in. Right?
Mhm.
So, like, I think about I'm going with the kid we're doing all this, the kids are having sleepovers with me in my room here every night, and I'm like and he's bothered by that. Like, if I'm not at home when they go to sleep, he's bothered that they sleep in my room, and then I come in and I go to sleep, and actually, for me, it's like nobody's waking me up in the middle of the night, I get to
Right.
sleep, you know?
Right, right, right,
But
right.
and I'm like, if he's bothered, he's bothered. I mean, okay, thanks for telling me, but I don't do
Yeah.
things now to,
Not
as long as
bother
nobody's
you.
getting, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like if the kids aren't getting hurt for
Mhm.
anything, it's just literally because I think he thinks, well, they need to grow up. They can't have sleepovers. Well, you're right, because I'm going to blink and they're going to be grown up and they're not going to be hanging out with me. And I also thought about it,
Did you tell me about your friend Orlando?
right? And I thought about it because we're also going to sell the house and we're going to get two separate houses. And I'm going to have
Mhm.
a week where I don't have the kids.
Mm.
So, and then I'm only going to have the kids 2 weeks out of the month.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, that to me is
Mhm.
like, what? I mean, I'm gonna see
Mhm.
them and I'll go to school and
Sure,
stuff,
sure,
and
sure,
of
sure.
course, it's not like I won't see them at all, but I'm saying like my everyday
No, it's
life.
not yeah, not like what we're doing now, right.
So I look at it now as like, I'm just gonna enjoy this time that we're all living under one roof
Mhm.
and take it for what it is. And to be honest, Orlando, I'm like, oh my God. Well, the day that I drop them off and I'm gonna go home to my house by
Mm.
myself.
Mhm.
And you know what? I might have the exact reaction where I'm like, I don't have to get out of bed. Like,
Right.
schedule my work for the middle of the week. Like, I'm like,
Who knows?
I
Right.
don't know how, like, I might not, I think, oh, I'll do this and this and this and this. And, I might just sleep in. Who knows?
Right. Right. Yeah.
You process it how you process it. It's definitely going to be a lot of things I'm just going to have to process it the way I do because I'm already like, oh my God, I'll be so sad. Okay. Yeah, I'll be sad, but we'll
Mhm.
just and then time will pass and we'll get used to it.
Right. Right. Right, 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 right.
But that's a really strange part of this parenting journey, which is being so used to, and in a way, like I know it's a little different than when they grow up and then sometimes they stay, sometimes they go. This is where they're little kids and I'm not gonna be waking up with them every day in the same house.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's strange to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't quite I'm gonna have to get there in order to get used to it.
Not where we were expecting to go, but I think that's a really look, if half of marriages end in divorce, then a lot of people on some level have to process what you're I know that for me, even at some points, as marriages will, there were points where Daphne and I were having a tough time. That a huge part of my like vision and motivation for like doing what I had to do, or at least trying, was I wanted to be there when my kids wake up. I didn't have my dad like that, and I just think that was a very specific, like sort of, and it sounds like it has a meaning to you too, the way you just described it. And I'm wondering if you can do you know what that meaning is? Like, can you articulate it? And then what's it been like to start thinking about grieving, not having it? Does my question make
Yeah,
sense?
I don't even because I'm still like sad sometimes about my marriage ending,
Yeah.
and just like where did it go? Like, because I was even thinking about it in the walk. Like last year, had no idea that he was feeling a certain way, never
Mm,
talked about it. And then, we I mean, I was enjoying the kids and he went on a trip and he called me because he needed my support for something. And I was like, and now here I am,
hmm,
like getting divorced. And then I was like, yeah, but, in a year, your life could look totally different,
right.
and it
Right.
will look totally different. It
One way
will.
or another.
So,
Right. Right.
and I really, with the whole grieving that part of the family that's not going to be waking up under the same roof every day,
Hmm.
and parts of that is going to be me not waking up with them.
Mm,
'Cause also there's a factor here. Am powerless over that fact. This isn't like
mm,
if he wants the kids for a week,
then that's what it
I
is.
I cannot deny him
Yeah.
because he's a good father.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like, he wants them. Now, look, is part of me like, "You just want it for the financial reason?" Well, yes and no, but also too, if he's not he wants the kids for a week, he wants me to have the kids for a week, and we go back and forth. So I literally have no control over it. It's not anything I'm gonna fight because they need their father in their
Yeah. Yeah.
lives,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I
you
hear
know?
you.
And it's not fair for me to be like, "No, I'm having him every week, you have him on the weekends." That's not fair when he wants them for a week,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not that person that's gonna be like, "No, you're the
Right.
one who wanted." I just don't think that that is fair to him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
with that information, not like literally having no control over, like, that's just how it is. I just have to this is one of those things, like, I just have to get there and then
Mhm.
see how and feel the feelings when I'm there. Because there's
Got it.
also gonna be a part when we file the paperwork
Right.
and
Right.
the divorce goes through and, and we sell the house and then I get my own like, so in the grieving process, I have to look at the positives of things. Like, I've been
Mhm.
going, "Okay, well, yeah, you're gonna sell this house, and then we're only gonna think positively. We're gonna somebody's gonna buy it for more than we're asking. We're gonna pay off our debts. We're gonna walk away with a chunk of money each. I'm gonna get a cute little house I'm gonna rent. I'm gonna decorate it however the hell I wanna decorate it."
Mhm.
And then when the
Mhm.
kids are not with me for a week, okay, then I'm gonna do, all the things, that I'm gonna I'm gonna stay up late if I want to. I'm gonna get up late if I want to. I'm gonna
Mhm.
do or just be my usual self and just
Right.
do my thing,
Right. Right.
you know,
Yeah.
with only the responsibility, like, oh, maybe, I was like, maybe I'll go to lunch at the cafeteria with them if I'm allowed to. Maybe I'll, like just little things where I'm like, we're
Mhm.
gonna be okay. The kids are healthy and they're here and that's all that matters. And
Mhm.
then you're let's just focus on this this that when it happens, because I also don't know when it's gonna happen either, Orlando. I don't
Mm.
know
Right.
when the house will sell. I don't
Mhm.
know when we'll get, I only have each task at a time.
Right. Right. Do you find that helpful? Here's where I was going.
Absolutely not.
Do you wanna know the whole that's what I was gonna say. Do you want I wanna see the whole picture? Sometimes I wanna see the whole picture, and I'm not sure that's to my benefit. Like, I like
No, it's
it,
not. Yes.
I want it, but what you're describing kinda sounds like actually a pretty healthy thing, which is like, all I can control is what's right in front of me. Anyway, you start to answer it. Go ahead.
No, absolutely not. I hate that. In fact, I was cracking up because whenever I do a walk around the neighborhood, I talk to like God. I go, okay,
Mhm.
God, my patience, not my strong point.
Right, right.
I just want to know. But guess what? I had no idea that um I would love being these kids' mom so much. Like if
Mm.
you told me 14 years ago when I was killing it in comedy, like, oh hey, guess what?
Right. Guess what you'll be
Gonna be a
doing?
man, you're gonna get married, you're gonna have kids. I'd be like, I would stomp out a fairy, okay? That was telling me that.
That's funny. That's
I will
really
get
funny.
out of here, future fairy. I will stop. So, but
I would stomp out a fairy is funny.
that's that's a terrible graphic. I can't believe I said that. Terrible. That was a little much. That was unnecessary. Yeah, and look, I don't know why God brought me to Georgia. I just
Right.
have no idea. But I'm
Right.
here and I really love it and I'm enjoying everything. And I'm not going back to LA.
We got
Trust
it.
me, just after spending 5 days in LA, I'm not going back to LA.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I get it. I get it. I get it.
I mean,
Yeah.
I could get a house here if you even looked at Zillow. It's $1,800 for a 4 bedroom. It's $6,000 in Van Nuys for a
And
two
you're not
bedroom
kidding.
in the hood.
Like, the number is funny, but not because it's not true. That is the true number. So that's a real thing, what you would pay for a yeah, for sure.
A real thing. A
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's just a very like nobody likes to be in limbo, right? And also too, it's not like this limbo I'm in is devastating. It's just like, okay, I'm annoyed that I don't know the future.
Mhm.
I have to cohabitate with my ex who's it's fine. We get along fine, really. I
Yeah.
mean, everything it's just more of like I can get into like right now, like I don't have a dresser. Big whoop, I don't have a dresser. Okay, Ro, you don't have a
It's gonna
dresser.
be
Oh
alright, right.
God.
Right.
I'm in my suitcase. No, you're not. Stop being dramatic. There's people that are in war-torn countries, people getting abused. They have to leave in the middle of a shift. Like, get over yourself. Sometimes I have to have a little like, get over yourself.
Get over
Knock it
yourself.
off.
I like it. I like it.
You
It's
know?
perspective, but like with your with a Mama Moody twist.
Yeah, because it's like a little like, yeah, bro, okay, it's okay. We're allowed to be sad, but also too like, hey, 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 let's calm down. Let's stop being so dramatic. Okay.
Get a hold
You're
of yourself.
a little dramatic here. You're a little dramatic. Like, because Orlando, look, we're from, I feel like New Yorkers, the thing about New York is like, and I don't want to speak for all of New York. Okay, because obviously I've been out of New York for a while, but I was just up there and I realized, you know what we love, especially Long Islanders, and I might get some flack for this, but we just love being in the thick of it. You know
Mm,
what I mean? Love it.
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I tell you, and I think we've talked about this particular incident. There was that train station in the 90s. It was that Colin Ferguson guy.
Yeah.
Remember? Shot up the train and it was and I think mm, I don't mean to make a joke about it, but he represented himself in court and the
It
woman was
was
like,
wild.
Do you see the man that shot you? She's like, "You did. You, sir, shot me."
This is not going well, Colin. Just so
Yeah,
you
he
know.
was in jail. He was in jail. He went to jail. But when I bring that up because, that was and specifically it happened in the 3rd car.
Hmm.
The thing with the 3rd car was that's the one that I was in because the first 2 cars didn't platform at Maryland because it was such a small train station. It's actually a huge one now. I just drove by it,
Mm,
like, last month, and I was like, "Oh my god."
right.
But the first
I
2
didn't
cars
know
didn't
that.
platform. So, and if somebody's wondering what that is, in Long Island Railroad, some of the stations were so short that they didn't 2 cars, the front 2 cars you can't be in them if you want to get off the train. They don't. So if anybody's wondering
At
what that
certain
is,
stations, yeah.
some of the stations. So, I'll tell you when that happened, that was about 10 minutes from our house. It was our train station, right?
Yikes. Okay.
And look, people it was a crazy day, 8 people died. It was insane, it was insanity. But when I
Hmm.
tell you, my mom's like, "Oh my god, I ride on the 3rd car whenever I take the train. That could have been me." I mean, but, like, you weren't even near it wasn't like she took the train that day, like, she was nowhere near it. She was nowhere
Right.
near the tragedy. She didn't like, "Oh, I'm about to go into the city. I'm
That's
leaving the
funny.
city." She
Right,
wasn't
right.
even in the city.
It's just this is my connection to this. I am part
This
of it.
But she had to I even have a friend that's dad was in the car,
Shit.
and literally
Oh,
the reason he survived was because he had been, like, in the war and knew what a gun sounded like when it was being cocked, and he heard the gun cock, and he grabbed the woman to protect her and brought her down, and, like, bullets happened. So, when I
my
say,
God.
like, my mom was nowhere she wasn't even at the 7-Eleven across the street of the train station, but
That's
she was
funny.
so like, "I coulda died." But no, no, you couldn't have
Because you weren't on the train
because
and you weren't going there and
you
what?
weren't there. It's
Yeah.
like, look, I was in Queens when 9/11 happened,
Right. Right.
but I was in Manhattan a few hours before that. Okay, Ro, but you weren't in Manhattan
When it happened.
when the tragedy happened. But I was supposed to be in Manhattan that day. Yeah, but were you in Manhattan? No, because it was shut down. Like, stop
That's real.
with the drama.
You know what? This is not where I thought this was going, but it's very funny and it's very true. Like I'm thinking about all these stories from New Yorkers where it's like, and wouldn't you know it, that's the station I used to go to every day. Like, all right. But like until you just pointed it out, I've always been like, oh wow, that's funny. That is really
Yeah, that's why it's, like, so easy for me to get into, like,
funny.
oh, God, like, look at my situation. Yeah, look
Right.
at my situation. It sucks. Yeah,
Right.
it sucks. Okay, it sucks. I didn't think of it, but also too. Hey, I don't mean to be too like I don't have to focus on terrible news, but like you're fine. What
Yeah.
you're not even slightly inconvenienced. You separated. You're not in a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom in Sherman Oaks.
Right.
You have
Right.
plenty of space, you have plenty of room. Like it's at most you have an attitude with each other at most.
What I like about the way you're presenting this, because also you've been putting out the videos of flooding yourself with positivity, right? But even as you do that, what I've liked is it does not feel like, and I know these phrases make people crazy, but it does not to me feel like toxic positivity because all of it is still grounded in real life, right? So if you were
Right.
saying like, actually, I really like suitcases. Suitcases, if you think about it, are even better than dressers. I'd be like, all right, bro, like I can't do this with you.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No, I
so
know.
what I like, because you're not, it's like to me, it's actually you're being realistic. You're being
Mhm.
honest. This is the situation right now. My kids come into my room. This is where I sleep now. We're going to sell the house. I don't know the future, right? Everything you're saying is grounded in reality. And that was a big step for me. I wish I'd had it earlier in my parenting journey, but
Mhm.
whatever. But the ability, like, it just is. And
Mhm.
not feeling like I've got to like frame it or explain it or whatever, but like this
Mhm.
is what is going on. And
Yes.
and I feel crappy about it, or the other person feels crap. I mentioned the thing about the conversation with Maya, and I was reminded of something my therapist said to me that just really stuck and helped me to like think about this stuff. And it was, I just kept reminding myself, she's human having a human experience. Because I
Mhm.
want to come in and feel like as if Maya should never be unhappy, as if Maya should never be sad or disappointed, right?
'Cause she's your kid. Yeah.
But when I was able to just be like, "Oh, you're having this human experience," and I just think there's something about being realistic that really helps parenting. Also, realistic in terms of sometimes you need a rest or a break, right? Like I learned, I went years without doing what I needed to do, but whatever it is, being real about the thing
Yes.
would help a lot because I think for some
Yeah.
parents, and I don't look. I mean, my mom had the two of us 6 days a week minimum. It was just her. We're in
Yeah.
like I said, one parent. Like I'm not acting as if like I've got the most difficult parenting journey ever, but that doesn't mean I wasn't tired.
Yeah. Exactly.
You
Well, it's
know.
funny 'cause I just thought of you the other day. I meant to text you because I was cracking up because I was like, Orlando would crack up at this because I don't know. I think I was like overwhelmed, like I don't know, probably overwhelmed by something. I was like running errands
Hmm.
and I've been telling you I've been reading all these stories, especially about Black history and all the trials and tribulations people have had to go through. I think I was reading something about like this person that rescued a bunch of Jewish people in World War II and how they had to hide people. It was just like one of those stories. Like, oh my god! And then I was thinking about all the and all the oh god, I think it was I was reading like also a short summary of the person that the guy that wrote 12 Years a Slave and the actual story of what happened or this other mom that was ripped apart from her kids during slavery and all this. And then I was like, bro, you need to stop feeling overwhelmed about going to Walmart and writing a goddamn blog. Okay? Okay.
As you read about bloodhounds chasing people. No, I get it. I get it. No,
Right.
yeah, and it's helpful.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Let's
yeah,
get some perspective. When I
yeah.
said to myself, "You're talking about writing a blog," and I go, "Man, Orlando would laugh his ass off because we are really, you know what? You're making this a big deal. Are you are you fighting for your freedom?"
Right. No,
No.
no, 100%. I totally get where you are. Yeah, sometimes you do have to remind yourself. It's funny because publishing on my blog is one of my things I need to get done today. And, and I was like, oh, I've got to write this thing and I don't know. All right. Like, first of all, nobody asked you to do this in case we're going to go back over the facts. Nobody, I don't remember anybody banging on your door saying you got to write. So knock it off.
Yep. Knock it
And
off.
when the beauty of it is, and I can still say, yeah, it sucks, right? Like, and I think parents don't get that opportunity sometimes, especially, I'll be honest, especially moms. Like, I think when a mom says this part sucks or that part sucks because it sucks, they get crushed. Like, I certainly on social media, I've seen some stuff where I'm like, what'd the lady say? What'd she say? All she said was, it's hard. Like, why are we pissed off? But people get really
So
mad.
pissed.
They get
So pissed.
really mad.
Really, man. Like, I love every moment of motherhood.
I mean, come on. There definitely are times I sat here like you did this to yourself. Like just so we can again, right? Like the blog times a trillion. You wanted this. You were in a big rush. Daphne slowed us down. You were in a big rush. So guess what, buddy? You got to go make some dino nuggets. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, and also too, what's funny is because yes, there are people like, well, you chose to have, and I will say because I was single and childless for a very long time, especially in today's society, that I can confidently say yes. But as a single childless woman, I stress myself about what I don't know because
Mm,
now I was
right,
like,
right. You can't even get to that stuff, right?
what were you stressed about? Okay.
Hmm.
And I always say, I am not putting down the fact that people that don't have kids cannot have stresses. Absolutely. We all have stresses.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, I
You
mean,
know,
it's
it's
just
just a
different.
different higher. It's just
It's
different.
completely different. Yeah.
And I also have friends that don't have kids that are like, you know why I'm not gonna have kids? Because I know how much I would love them and I don't wanna bring them in, like, this world's too crazy for me. I can't even function. And I go, I get it. I get it.
I've heard a number of people say, and younger people. It's funny that there's so
Yeah.
much argument right now. We'll wind down, but I do. I'm glad you brought up this topic. This all this talk right now. Dr. Oz the other day said underbabied, which I was like, please never say that phrase again.
Wait, what did he say?
He said that some percentage, and I forget what the percentage was, of women in America are underbabied, which means they either have no children or few. Right? I was like, no matter what you're
Underbaby.
trying to
Yeah. Oh,
communicate,
I see what it
please
is.
never say under baby
Don't
again.
ever.
It's
Ew.
just what? So
Underbabied?
yeah, and there's a lot of energy around it, but I do think a lot of younger people are like, for what?
Yeah.
To have no water, to have no clean air, to live in a society that, you know what I mean? Like,
By
what's
the
the
way,
upside?
also, maybe the reason is because these younger people have stopped hanging out with adorable babies and hung out with insane toddlers. Because when you hang out with a toddler, you're
Yeah.
not going to want to have kids.
No, usually not. Even when they were mine. I tell people all the time, I'm like, first of all, terrible twos
Oh my
is
God.
one of the worst things I've ever, because my experience was it was three. At
Yeah, three reps.
three was
Three reps.
like, what have I done to my life?
Oh my God. The F and fours? What the hell?
Once they start getting like some real autonomy about them and can like articulate and whatever, but they're still, so they're not making sense necessarily. It is rough. It
Oh my
is
God.
rough.
And I'll tell you, because my nephews, both of my nephews are gonna be 3, and Camille's son, she's here now, and
Hmm.
I'm around, and he's adorable,
Sure, sure. No, it's not their
adorable,
fault.
but he's insane.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
she's insane, and I had one. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna pick him up. I'm gonna take him. I think I told you where I was like, literally just ordered Jacob Jail. You watch him. This boy's eating another kid's Happy Meal. I didn't even 2 seconds. I tried. What the hell? And then Jayla's like, Enzo's got somebody in a chokehold. Oh my God,
What?
it's Christ!
What?
Just a matter of seconds. It's like
That's funny.
I'm like toddler. And look, you had twins. I had 2 under 2.
Hey, that was crazy.
There's
Yeah.
a point I remember we gotta just get through the day.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's a real thing. When they go to sleep, you're like, all right, chalk another one up. Chalk another one up.
Yeah,
Here we go.
yeah. We're gonna, and she's pregnant now. And I remember that being pregnant with a toddler. And you were just like, she's just like, I was just like, let me help you find
Right.
this insurance because I just saw the time. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. But
Yeah,
really,
I was
like, I
looking
just
at.
remember how, like, right now the kids are gaming downstairs.
Right.
It's so
Right.
different.
Yeah,
So
no.
different.
When they're 4, there's like you get 30 seconds, maybe, whatever it is you think you're pulling off. Even screens,
Yeah.
I found. Everybody says, oh, the screens, oh, the screens. I was like, screens weren't that great. They helped, but
Yeah.
it wasn't
Oh
like
no.
infinite.
Enzo destroyed. And by the way, Jayla, when she was 2, I forget how old she was, like almost 3. She figured out how to climb out of that crib. I'll never She came out victorious. It was the one night that I said, "Let me take a gummy. I'm gonna take a gummy." Because I was so mad about Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl and I want to punch him in the face. And I remember I was like, Chris was like, "You should calm down, take a gummy." And I remember I was like, "Okay, cool, we're chilling." And then she came out like, "Hey, how did you escape?"
Right. That's a tough moment when you realize, yeah, they're not contained anymore. It's over. That's
No.
over.
I
That's
watched her
over.
get up and she was able to get her body hang over and get it. I mean, her physical capability was incredible. But that girl, we watched her. Because she
Right.
had the rocking chair between her brother's bed and her, and she figured out how to get over. She wanted a Woody toy, the Toy Story
Yeah.
Woody. Yeah. She figured, and then when I watched her on the camera, look at her like a little ninja. She was so they're adorable, but I think that's what I don't blame people now.
Yeah.
It's
No,
okay
no, no,
that
no, no.
people they think that the population's gonna be just fine.
Or whatever, right? Like to me, it's crazy to say to some 19, 20, 21 year old, you got to go have 2.2 kids because we got to keep our numbers up. That's insane. And it's, as we've talked about before, and then we wrap it up, it's a tough job. Like the parts, I actually want to do an episode where we talk about not even as parents, but like what you did for your sister-in-law. Like, what do we see as ways to be supportive of parents? So whether you're also a parent or not, that's something that, but stuff,
Mm,
because some of these things, they really are too much. And we don't live anymore where it's like, oh, grandma and grandpa are here and this one and that one. It's very rare to see that anymore. Um,
yeah,
so anyway, we should talk about that. But I want to congratulate you again for Netflix.
thank you.
Netflix did a joke fest, and I was sorry I was out of town. I was on the trip. As a matter of fact, I was on the trip we just talked about. So I guess in a way, it all worked out. But I wish I had been able to see that set. I'm sure you crushed. But no, just I wanted to congratulate you again, and
Thank you.
yeah, we're gonna be better with the show notes, folks who
Yep,
have been checking. So check, and I'll make sure to be getting any stuff from Rowan where you can see her, read, go see her live, whatever it is.
we'll be back at it again next Thursday.
Next Thursday. We're on it. Thanks, Ro. Talk to you soon.
Alright, bye, Orlando.